Help me reach 1,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I never thought a joke could end marriage, but looking back, it wasn't a joke. It was what it revealed. My name is James, and until that night, I believed my life with Elizabeth was stable, predictable, safe. We weren't wildly passionate anymore, but we were steady, and I thought that was enough. Elizabeth and I had been married for 11 years. We met in our late 20s, built careers, bought a house in a quiet neighborhood, hosted dinners that ended early because everyone was tired. It wasn't glamorous, but it was real. I worked long hours in project management, and she ran a small interior design business from home. We functioned well, or so I thought. That evening we had friends over. Wine takeout, casual laughter. One of the guests was Mark, an old friend of mine from college. Loud, confident, always the center of attention. Elizabeth had met him plenty of times, and they got along easily. Too easily, if I'm honest. Still, I never felt threatened. Trust was something I thought we had earned. The conversation drifted as people drank. Stories got exaggerated. Mark told a ridiculous gym story, flexing like he always did, and everyone laughed. Elizabeth laughed too, leaning forward, eyes bright. Then she said it, smiling casual. Well, at least you've always been bigger than James. The room went quiet for a split second. Someone laughed awkwardly. My face burned, but I forced a smile. It was embarrassing, sure, but I told myself it was just bad humor. People say stupid things. Then I asked calmly, "How do you know?" Elizabeth froze. Not confused. Frozen. That pause told me more than any argument could. She laughed too loudly and waved it off. "Oh my God, James, it was just a joke. Don't be so sensitive." Everyone laughed then. The moment passed for them. It didn't pass for me. If this moment made you uneasy too, tap like so this story can reach others who understand quiet doubt. I spent the rest of the night on autopilot, smiling, cleaning, nodding. Inside, the question replayed again and again. How do you know? Not why did you say it? How do you know? After everyone left, Elizabeth acted normal. Too normal. Talking about work. Asking if I wanted to watch a show. I said I was tired and went to bed. I lay in the dark, listening to her scroll on her phone. The room felt smaller. Over the next days, I noticed things I'd ignored before. How she angled her phone away. How Mark's name came up more often, always casual. I didn't accuse her. I didn't snoop. I watched. Tell me in the comments. Do jokes sometimes reveal truth, or are words meaningless without proof? One night, I told her the joke bothered me and asked what she meant. She sighed, irritated. It didn't mean anything. You're reading into it. But she never answered the question. That became the pattern. Deflection, dismissal, making me feel foolish for noticing. I slept poorly. Trust doesn't break loudly. It erodes. If you felt that erosion before, type the word clarity below. A week later, she mentioned meeting Mark for coffee. Casual. My chest tightened, but I nodded. Sure. Have fun. If this feels like a turning point, consider sharing this story with someone who understands how trust unravels. That night, lie alone, I admitted something I'd avoided. Even if nothing physical had happened, something intimate already had. Respect had slipped. Boundaries blurred. Before the story continues, comment below. Was staying quiet strength or mistake? I told myself patience was maturity, that confronting things too early only created drama. Men are taught to absorb discomfort quietly, to wait for proof instead of trusting instinct. So I waited, carrying the weight alone, convincing myself that doubt without evidence was just insecurity, wearing logic's clothes. That belief kept me silent, even as the distance between Elizabeth and me became impossible to ignore. Silence felt safer than answers, but safety, I would soon learn, can be an illusion at first. I didn't know then this was only the beginning. I still believed honesty would come. I was wrong. The coffee meeting happened on a Thursday. Elizabeth said she'd be gone an hour. She came back nearly 3 hours later, smelling faintly a cologne that wasn't mine. She talked too much, over-explaining, as if speed could replace honesty. I listened, nodding, filing everything away. I wasn't angry yet. I was focused. That night, after she fell asleep, I did something I never thought I would. I checked her phone. I didn't dig for long. I didn't need to. The messages weren't explicit, but they didn't have to be. Late-night jokes, inside references, a familiarity that doesn't belong between a married woman and her husband's friend. One message stood out, sent the night of the dinner. "You really shouldn't have said that, LOL." Her reply came seconds later. "I know. I didn't think." She didn't think, or she didn't care. I put the phone back exactly where it was and lay there until morning, staring at the ceiling. I realized then that the joke was a mistake. It was a leak. Pressure always finds a crack. The next evening, I asked her to sit down. No raised voice. No accusations. Just facts. I asked again calmly, "Elizabeth, how did you know?" She looked tired. Not guilty. Annoyed. "Why are you doing this?" "I'm asking a simple question." Silence stretched between us. Then she said it. Not directly, but close enough. "Mark and I, we talked. Flirted. It didn't mean anything. You're making it bigger than it is." Bigger. The word landed heavy. I asked if it had ever crossed a line. She hesitated. That was my answer. I stood up, not to leave, but to breathe. "You embarrass me. You crossed a boundary. And instead of owning it, you made me feel stupid for noticing." She rolled her eyes. "So what? You're going to blow up our marriage over a joke?" "No," I said quietly. "I'm ending it because you stopped respecting me long before the joke." She laughed, sharp and disbelieving. "You're overreacting." That's when clarity finally settled in. Overreacting is what people say when they don't want consequences. I told her I needed space and went to stay with my brother. I didn't threaten divorce. I didn't beg. I gave her exactly what she seemed comfortable with. Distance. The days apart were strange. Peaceful, even. I noticed how tense I'd been, how much energy I'd spent minimizing myself to keep things smooth. Elizabeth texted once, then twice, then grew defensive when I didn't respond quickly. Control feels different when it slips away. A week later, she asked to talk. I agreed. She apologized, sort of, said she missed me. Said Mark was just a distraction, that she never meant to hurt me. I listened until she finished. Then I asked one last question. "If I hadn't noticed, would you have stopped?" She didn't answer. That was enough. I told her I was done, not in anger, in acceptance. I explained that trust isn't just about fidelity. It's about consideration, about not turning your partner into a punchline. She cried then, real tears, but they came too late. The divorce wasn't dramatic. Painful, yes, but clean. Mark disappeared from our lives completely. I heard later he tried to explain himself, but I never responded. Some explanations don't deserve space. Months passed. My life got quieter, stronger. I slept better. I laughed without checking who was watching. I learned that humiliation doesn't always come from betrayal. Sometimes it comes from staying where you're no longer valued. I don't hate Elizabeth. I don't replay the joke anymore. I understand it now for what it was, a signal I almost ignored. If this ending changed how you see respect in relationships, like this story, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more real stories that explore trust, boundaries, and the moments that define them.